They come in 4 packs. As you may or may not have guessed from that intro, I'm trying to figure out what to do with the rest of these. I don't particularly care for them. I'm not saying they're bad, they're just not for me. So what I ended up doing was deciding that I was going to make a cocktail out of them. Talked to a friend, got a gin recommendation for this based on the flavor profile of this and what I was going for. And one of the things that I didn't like about these was that the honey was just so muted. It was fermented to complete dryness, but also at a low ABV, at least, compared to most mead. So it felt a little bit watered down. The cherry note was available, but not to its fullest extent, and the honey was lacking even on the nose, which is something that I don't experience that often with mead. Usually that is first and foremost. So what I decided to do was make some honey syrup. I'll go ahead and show you how I did that now. So to make the honey syrup, I'm gonna mix 2 parts honey to 1 part water, which should make it fairly similar to a 1-to-1 simple syrup, given that honey is already somewhat in a liquid state. And I'm going to heat it gently over the stove to get it to incorporate. I don't want to lose any of the more volatile flavor compounds in the honey. I really want to preserve that in this process so that we can really taste it when we make the drink. This is a great way to utilize a lot of leftover honey that you have from batches. If you can, try and get your honey in glass jars. If it starts to crystallize, you can slowly heat it up in a pot of water in order to get it to melt back into liquid form. It's just a little bit harder to do that in plastic. Alright, got about as much out of this as I'm gonna get. And that's about all I'm gonna get out of this one too. I'm gonna supplement this with a little bit of cranberry blossom honey. I wasn't able to find really big containers of this, but this is delicious, and the fruitiness will really go with what I'm going for here. Okay, I got 140 grams of honey, which means I'm going to add 70 milliliters or 70 grams. It's the same, gotta love metric, of water. That's a good 2-to-1 mix. I'll go ahead and take it over the stove, heat it up gently, and get it to incorporate. So show might have been a bit of an exaggeration. I wasn't able to actually get footage on the stove, but it was real quick, just getting it warm enough to come together and then take it off the heat and stir more. It's a very quick and easy process. And just a 2-to-1 ratio of honey to water. You can even push it to 3-to-1 honey to water. But I think for our purposes, treating this as close to a 1-to-1 regular simple syrup will get the job done. And as you can see, I've gone with Hendrick's gin. I tasted this after the recommendation, and it does seem to go with what I want to do with this. So let's see if we can rescue this mead for my palate. Alright, so I've actually not tested this recipe, so I'm in for as much a surprise as you are. So what I'm gonna do is do 3/4 of an ounce of the honey syrup. This is gonna end up being a fairly sweet drink. Gonna do 1.5 ounces of the Hendrick's gin. I'm going to stir that up. This is going to be a very dead simple cocktail recipe. That's what you get when your mise is not en place. You have to hunt for your hot horse trainer. Mine is a pretty cheap one. We're just gonna do a closed pour through there. And we are going to top with the Mead. Ooh, I didn't realize it was gonna float like that. Unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to jostle this a little bit. As much as I'd hate to ruin the effect of it floating, I do want it incorporated, since I plan on drinking this out of a straw. Oh, that's delicious. Okay, so immediately the honey comes through with the fruit flavors. Remember, it was star thistle honey, orange blossom honey, and cranberry blossom honey. And it comes together to give a really citrus forward taste, which complements the cherry in the Psychopomp mead really, really well. It just bursts forth with almost a fruit punch flavor. Some of the citrus could easily be coming from the Hendrick's gin. It really comes forth. The gin does not overpower the mead. You can smell the honey in it. This really takes a lot of the flavors that were present but muted in this mead and elevates them. It gives them some body, it gives them something to hold on to, it gives them a little bit of cling. There's a slight grass note that I know is coming from the gin, and I'm really not mad about it. It tastes like having, you know, a fruit punch forward drink in the summer outside. The lawn has just been cut. You could drink this all day. This doesn't taste like there's any booze in it. It's pretty phenomenal. And I think I figured out what I'm gonna do with the rest of this Havoc mead. Yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, leave a comment if you want to see more mead cocktails, or if you have any mead cocktails that you've done. I'd love to hear about them. Let me know if you want to see what sort of pop culture meads you want to see me make. I'll get right back to it. I just had some complications come up where some things that I have to do for the next one had to be delayed just a little bit. But there will be more mead making on this channel very soon, I promise. And also a bit more mead drinking on this channel, you know, for fun. Well, I've been Burley Mullins, and this has been Method to the Meadness. Whew, this was good.